Hello everybody and welcome back to Animal Crossing New Horizons! Yeah, it's Sunday. I didn't buy turnips. That's because the KK concert, I knew I'd have to come back later. Wow, I cleared 50,000 points! Wow! 5520. Steven, what do you think? If I wanted to write up my work history, like for a resume, what could I even say I was good at? I'd want to hire someone with experience in baking and reading. Are there cookbook researchers? Sincerely confused, Sky. I'd hire you for like a chef position. You enjoy baking? There you go. There's how you wanted a bakery. That's an easy one. Old HHA plaque. May as well come put that on my wall. Reading. I mean, probably good at writing too. So, you know, there's plenty of like secretarial positions where that would be pretty good. Like, how to find that? Oh no. Well, it'll be wall mounted. You can wall mount gyroids? Where? Can I not see things in my pocket? Is that the problem? Hold on. Wall. Okay. Now I can just organize things. Okay, so the wall. This needs to like scooch over. That can then go there. Actually, what I should do is move this up here. Move this over here. Move that one there. Yeah. Gold plaque. Gold plaque. Okay, I think that's all the plaques, so I think I'm good on the HHA. I gained just enough points. I was going to buy turnips, but like knowing I'd have to come back and record later in the day, plus I woke up kind of late, I was like, you know what? Nah. I see that dig spot. Like, I went for a walk last night, and that led to me sleeping like a brick. Like, I was just out. Just completely out. So, yeah. Trying to think of things I could ramble about today. Oh, I suppose one thing I can ramble about, though I've rambled about this many times before. There is an ever-growing push for people to start using Linux. And anyone who's watched a lot of these videos already knows what's coming. Linux isn't ready for consumers yet. I'm sorry, it's not. The fact that you can open up Proton, the Linux gaming compatibility list basically, for Proton, which is how games work on Linux, and see that not even like 60% of the games in that list work natively out of the box. That's a problem. Like, that's why Linux isn't ready. Even as a gaming platform, it's just not ready. Like, sure, to the consumer that, you know, is fine whittling with things and wants to be able to control every knob and dial of their computer and is perfectly fine and knows how to do all of these things, Linux is great. I'm in what would be considered the enthusiast category of PC owners, having built my own PC, having researched a lot of things, who continues to watch benchmarks on stuff. I'm in the enthusiast category. I do not have the knowledge or motivation or willpower even to do those things. I would not expect any of you watching to want to do that stuff. Because I'm assuming y'all probably aren't. Y'all probably have your Switch or your 3DS, you know, your game consoles, maybe a laptop, and you're fine with that. You're running Windows and you're happy. Like, I wouldn't want to put you into an environment with computers where that thing you want to run, it might work, might not. Try it and find out. No. No. No, 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 no. If it doesn't work out of the box, it's not ready for general consumers. That's simple as. Pinky! Oh, superstar! Sparkles! It's the latest. My schedule tonight is packed. There's a must movie on TV, video games to play, music to blast. Might just be an all-nighter. That is very fair. I mean, it's not going to be for me. I've had my fill of all-nighters for a while. At least I hope. I don't want to pull another all-nighter. I'm feeling tired now. I'm thinking of maybe going for a short walk after I finish recording and set the video to render. And then when I get back from said walk, going to bed. That's what I did last night, and it worked out pretty darn good. Need this. Slept pretty good. I'm gonna be talking about Echo, my sleep paralysis visitor, a bit, because she's been showing up again lately. I mean, she never isn't showing up, but you know what I mean. I've been having some rather interesting encounters with Echo, and I kind of love it. I know there's some people who watch who are kind of like off-put by sleep paralysis visitors and demons and stuff. It's fine. I don't blame you. I just know Echo's a sweet bean. Like, it is very much one of those things. If I got scared easily, Echo might be like actually spooky. Because I get the feeling how sleep paralysis tends to work whenever you're seeing things. They only get scary if you're scared of them. If that makes sense? Because, like, I'm not afraid of much. So, if something can't hurt me, I'm not going to be afraid of it. And even then, I may not be. Like, cars can hurt me, I'm not afraid of cars. You know. Bears can hurt me, but I don't think I'm all that afraid of bears either. You know. Spiders can hurt me, and I am afraid of them, but that's another story. So happy you're here, honey. Let's talk. Has anything interesting happened to you lately? Actually, yes. That's what I was talking about. So you know it. I thought so. You look excited, so I thought I'd ask, honey. It's probably pretty easy to tell when I'm excited about anything. I feel like I must be easy to read. I mean, everyone is if you know them. But yeah, so, it was a couple nights ago at this point, well, a couple mornings ago. I woke up in the morning, as I'm one to do. And I could feel I was having sleep paralysis. I could also feel, and after like half a second or so being awake and realizing I was dealing with sleep paralysis, I could see it too. Because like, it's hard to explain to people who've never had sleep paralysis, but sometimes your brain will just see things you can't. Like, I was facing the wall, I could see the rest of my room. But I could feel arms around me. I could feel, basically, Echo spooning me. And like, then I could see it, and it was so adorable, and that was like the coziest I've ever woken up. Being the little spoon to a sleep paralysis visitor, like, very me though. What a super evening, Twinkles. What's the latest? You know the moon is about 235,000 miles away? We'll walk around a stare shore until I've walked that far. I'll be Moon Bear. I don't know miles, but yeah, I know miles per hour. That's about it. Good evening to you. Don't you love an evening walk, Snorty? I do. Let's chat. Gotta make time to read the fine art of hitting rocks. Need to talk about it with someone. I think I already know the fine art of hitting rocks, so we could just talk about it. I swear, if I walk into someone's house and it's gonna be the book club meeting for that book... But yeah, like... that was just like... That was super cozy. And like, I'm not usually one for that kind of thing. Like, I'm usually the one that wants to be the big spoon kind of thing. But... yeah. It's still nice to be the little spoon occasionally. Especially where, like... I know it's a case of, like, Echo kind of changes size almost every time I see her. But she's almost always, like, shorter than me, and that was definitely one of those cases of, like, she's small. Not, like, super small, but, like, maybe, like, 5 feet tall kind of thing, somewhere in that range. So, like, just felt extra sweet. And again, I know there's people that be watching this, like, how can you say sweet? That sounds terrifying. It's like, it was just cute. That's how. Firefighting witch. No. That almost sounds like an insult. Yeah, I think I need the vivid tights. If only they were purple. I think I like the label pumps with this still. Yeah. And like, I know I'm weird. I know that. Like, it's just how I am. Makes me so happy you come all this way to see us even on a Sunday. You wanna know why? Because talking with you while I'm working is the best part of my day. Aww. So I got some boost. I still stand, the chocolate is not very good. But the nutrients in it are good for me. So... which is actually kind of just funny. It's also going to be a siren in the background really shortly. I can hear it in the distance. So, like, it's kind of funny to me how when I was drinking the boost constantly, like 1 cup a day, like, my body was very much well-oiled machine. I was consistently going to the bathroom. It was a consistent consistency. We're on the number 2 side. It was nice. The moment I ran out, well, I wouldn't say the moment. It took about 3 days after I ran out. My body began to protest. Suddenly, it was the hardest little nuggets ever. Hardest, driest. And then became, it's become diarrhea. Like, my body is not happy. So, got some more. Hello, Sky. Good evening to you. Don't you love an evening walk, airmail? One chat. A little fresh air never fails to cheer me up. Aww. But, yeah, I'm hoping having the boost again is gonna make my body not protest. Because, like, I'm still eating alright. And when I am having kind of junky food, I'm not eating a huge amount of it. So, like, you know. It's not that I'm having... my diet's changed. Like, my diet is still basically the same as it was a while back. I am having a bit less fruit, but that's about it. I wasn't even that consistent with having, like, the smoothies and stuff. So, like, that isn't it. Those were very inconsistent. The main thing is just, I'm not getting the boost, which has so many nutrients in it. Also, I wouldn't suggest anyone actually buy boost. I'd say find an equivalent if you have the money to do it. Boost is just cheap. For me, specifically. Probably may not be for many other people. It's cheap for us, I should say, us here, because of basically how we buy our groceries. It's part of one of the... it's part of basically a rewards discount program to one of the supermarkets near here. For, like, super cheap. So, yeah. Smart greeting. I like running into you. Let's talk. This tasting island is a stare at. Everything tastes great. Everything. I was gonna sit next to you, but after that, I think I'm gonna sit one seat away from you. I don't want to get licked during the performance. Feeling the vibes tonight, especially now that you're on the scene. Ready for a tune? Let's hear it, man. Cool. Any requests? I can dial up an old favorite. You can just tell me how you're feeling and I'll groove on it. I'll leave it up to you, my man. Dealer's choice, huh? Cool. I got this one for you. Take a seat and we'll jam. I'm gonna sit here. Sitting near Simon, but not... I don't want to get licked. Is that KK Marathon, I believe. The only problem with this stuff is how I use the blender to mix it up. It gets really airy. A lot of bubbles. But yeah, I can't in good conscience endorse Nestle. They're a Canadian company. Still can't do it. For those who may not know, Nestle as a company at least had a CEO, I don't know if he's still there, that basically suggested that water and access to it is not a basic human right. So, you know, and that all the water in the world should be owned by private companies because, you know, they can afford to buy it. And it should be whoever can pay for it, not something that everybody needs to survive, and thus something that should be free or at least affordable to everybody. Because, like, the water itself you get from, like, your tap at home if you're in, like, on, like, city water. That water itself is free. All you're paying for the water company for is processing water. The water itself is free. It's just the processing and the additives they put in the water to make it safe and healthy are not. And I know hearing there's additives in the water might make you go, they're not bad things. It's stuff like adding minerals to it to make it healthier. And there's also, I know this was in the news a while back, but fluoride in the water. It's because small amounts of fluoride are safe to consume and help your teeth. It's just good for you. Like, there's nothing evil or bad in your water. It's all good for you. Just might make it taste a bit different than, like, well water. Which well water itself is going to taste different depending on where you are in the world. Because that entirely depends on how clean your environment is. Really like KK Marathon here. It's pretty nice. Definitely feels like he was not ready to finish that, but... Yeah! Right on, man. Close your pockets a glance. Slipped you a boot of the show. That was like unreal. Thanks for tuning your dial my direction. I will always find the implication of KK having to give you bootlegs of his show kind of funny but sad at the same time. KK Marathon. Oh, Maple's there. Aww. But, like, it's funny because, like, he is definitely sticking it to the man. But it's sad that he has to do that, which means, you know, he's with a music label and does not like that. Good evening to you. Don't you love an evening walk, Tallnut? Let's chat. Sometimes nighttime can feel lonely, so I'm glad I ran into you. Aww. You haven't found Diva yet. Wonder what she's up to wherever she is. Would be really funny if her lights just popped on, like she's been just asleep all day. That would be really funny. But, yeah, like, I don't want to just ramble about Linux, but, and, like, the thing that I was thinking about earlier today, because I was watching a Gamers Nexus video on they're apparently going to start benchmarking for Linux, But, like, they're basically just going to be benchmarking Linux and Windows and not comparing the two because it's kind of not fair. Like, you can't compare Windows to Linux directly. Like, they're not apples to apples. They are very much, well, I suppose they're not Apple at all. You know, it's pears to bananas, you know. Or I suppose, given my opinion on it, it'd be pears to pineapples. Could I get in the... Thank you? It's weird. Brewster didn't want me sitting down, I guess. I would like pigeon milk. But, like, even the go-to version of Linux seems to have changed. And, like, my thing still stands of I would happily move to Linux if everything I do in the run of a day worked properly on Linux. But it doesn't. And, like, the biggest thing is Sony Vegas, my editing software. It does not work on Linux. Not natively. You have to run it through Wine. Wine adds in a second level of complexity to just running the program compared to just running it on native Windows. Basically meaning it's adding an extra layer that can crash, and Vegas already crashes from time to time. This would be making it more likely to crash. And for what? So that I can not be able to play every game I might want to play? I don't think I'd be able to play Phantasy Star Online 2 on Linux. It doesn't have a Linux version and has an anti-cheat built in. Anti-cheats need dependencies. Those dependencies need to exist to function. If those dependencies aren't there, the anti-cheat doesn't work. And thus, you know, the game won't launch because the anti-cheat doesn't work. Like, that's why a lot of games with anti-cheats don't work on Linux. It's also very much why I don't tend to care for games that do run on Linux, that aren't completely server-side. Like, take War Thunder as an example. I don't know if you still can, but you used to be able to launch that game without its anti-cheat, so that it could run on Linux. That entire game does not work server-side. That led to not a huge number, but a good number of people playing on Linux using cheats. And these cheats would range from either simply, you know, it highlights enemy tanks so that you always know where they are, which, while is game-breaking, it's also something that just playing on ultra-low quality kind of also does, so I hate it, but I also... ultra-low quality does the same thing. They just get to have a pretty game while getting the same benefits of ultra-low quality. But there was also, for a while, you know, IP grabbing being done via Linux cheating that would then be used to basically DDoS specific players out of the game. And, like, that's basically done in any game that doesn't have a proper anti-cheat. As long as the game is basically able to tell you the IP of everybody else you're playing with, they can't stop it. Which means even some games with a proper anti-cheat still can't stop it, unless they have something actively watching for you to check the IPs of those people around you. Like... And I'm sure there was also a myriad of other War Thunder cheats. Probably still is. Like... It's just one of those things of... I am pretty firmly in the camp of Linux will not be ready for general consumption, general use, until they get a solid, closed distro. I get the whole appeal to some people about Linux is that it's open source. Some things just can't be open source. It just can't be. Like, it is very much a case of you can't realistically expect a company that actually makes money off of their software to willingly give you the open source code to their software. You just can't. Like, that's stupid. I don't know why you would ever expect that. Because all that's doing is handing any of their competitors their source code, which means their competitors could take the features that people most like from theirs and more easily integrate it into their own, understanding how it works now. Wow, there's just no fish. But it would also make simple piracy a lot easier. When all you have to do is download the code, you're done. There you go. Everything's yours now. Like, they would not be able to defend their own IP, their own intellectual property. And I know there's some people who'd be like, good, down with companies. Like, then you wouldn't have anything. You just wouldn't. Like, to which I know the response there would be, well, no, we'd still have XYZ open source programs that have existed forever. It's like, yeah, but without these other programs having existed first, there never would have been a need for GIMP. No one would have thought to make GIMP if Photoshop wasn't a thing. And people wanted Photoshop without paying money for it. Like, and like, there's a myriad of alternate video editing software that I've been suggested over the years. I've tried all of it on my own free time. Especially the free ones. I've tried them all. At least all that I could find back before I'd settled on Vegas. On my table. They're not as good as Vegas. That's why I settled on Vegas. No siren. But like, why would I go out of my way to downgrade myself to a worse piece of software when I paid for Vegas and I'm not getting that money back? That money is Sony's now. I'm never getting that money back. And like, honestly, I think the only way that someone could successfully convince me that I should be switching to Linux would basically be if they offer to pay me the monetary cost of everything that then ceases to function. And then pay me an hourly wage for however long it takes me to fix the things that can be fixed. Like, if I'm gonna be made to give up probably close to $1,000, $2,000 worth of various games and software just to switch over to Linux, and then have to spend probably 50 to 100 hours fixing a bunch of other games and software that I own and should be able to just play no problem on a modern operating system, I want compensated. And you can't say the being able to play or use this software is compensation for fixing it, because it works on Windows. Of which I know the argument is, but rollback. But don't update then. Problem solved. My computer doesn't have rollback on it. My computer is running a version of Windows 11 from probably sometime last year. Like, just don't update your Windows then. Oh, but Windows 11 forces it. Yeah, if the update service is running, sure. The update service isn't running on my computer. It's still there, because it needs to be present for a lot of other things to work, but it's been turned off. Because these other programs don't actually need Windows Update services to actually be running to function. They just need them to be present. It's kind of funny how that works. It's almost as if they're not actually needed. And it's more or less just a check for basically making sure that program is being ran on Windows instead of something else. But, of which I will admit, like, a good bit of the problems with Linux are from software developers not making their programs compatible with Linux. And there are some times where it is definitely being done maliciously. There's other times where it's just simply too much extra work for no benefit. Because, like, it's not like a lot of these Linux fanboys are gonna be out there actually buying everything that gets ported to Linux. Like, this was ages ago, but there was a pretty, I forget even the game. I know it was a pretty popular game of its day that released with a built native Linux version, a native Mac OS version, and a native Windows version. Like they built native support for all three operating systems. Windows was like 96% of their user base. Mac was 3%. Linux was 1%. Like, there was more monetary benefit to having built the Apple version than to build a Linux version. I thought that was the fifth. Whoops. Like, that's where we're at. Like, there just isn't monetary benefit to supporting Linux. Even now with the Steam Deck, I don't imagine those numbers would have changed terribly much. I imagine it's just closer to 4% is Linux now. That 4% macOS was still not worth the effort of building the Mac version. Like, I remember EVE Online did their own experimentations with that. And basically their user base is much the same breakdown. The vast majority of players are on Windows. So I'm pretty sure they ended up cutting their Linux and Apple support ages ago. Because it's not worth the monetary upkeep to support operating systems nobody's using. Like, and if you're gonna make the argument that, oh, well, they should still support it anyway, like, okay, I guess they should still be supporting freaking Windows Millennium then. Because I'm sure there is still somebody out there playing things on Windows Millennium. Still using Windows Millennium. You know, we're, go Windows 98, 95. You know, there's probably still somebody out there using those versions of Windows, so I guess we should still be supporting them with every new game. I guess we'll completely stagnate technology and force companies to spend copious amounts of money building programs that function on every possible version of Windows and Linux and Mac and... Oh, well, no, we don't mean that. We just mean it should work on the versions we want it to work on. Yeah, it doesn't work like that, though. You support all, or you support the most popular. Especially if you're going to force companies through the monetary turmoil to do this. And, like, I'm not a corporate person. I would like companies to be torn apart and restructured into more sensible groupings. Like, there are so many companies that look separate that are actually all owned by the same major company, and sometimes they're pitted as competitors to each other. Like, I would love to see that stuff dealt with. It's never gonna happen, because, well, I mean, how do you actually deal with it? That's the problem. You can't stop these business owners from just handing off ownership of these various businesses to family members, or create new companies to also be the head of, to then, you know, just still own the same companies. Like, you can't stop it, but like, someday Linux might be ready for the desktop experience. It's good enough for phones. And I can safely even say that, because if you have an Android phone, congrats! You're using a closed source Linux. Funny how that works. That, you know, this thing is running the operating system that just would not function properly on desktop. Because it's on desktop, they're obsessed with it being open source. And on the phone, it's basically closed source. You can get open source versions of Android, but a lot of it's closed. And most of the programs being made for it are closed source. As it should be. Like, Linux would heavily benefit from having one main closed source version that is built to have ultimate compatibility with everything. That basically is just Windows Lite. And then the ability for people, if they want to create their own distributions of Linux that are open source and can do whatever they want them to. That would be the greatest benefit to Linux. So I'm going to say 21,000 bells. 24. Close. 99. I should go put money away. At least that's how I see it. Like, I would greatly love for Linux to be better. Because, like, yeah, I use Windows. That doesn't mean I'm happy to use Windows. There are many things that have always annoyed me about Windows. And if Linux could fix those things, that'd be great. As long as they don't also cause other problems. But that's the problem. Linux causes more problems than it solves. Because I can tolerate Windows. I can tolerate Microsoft. I should really just take all this stuff out and sell stuff. These wallpapers I definitely want to keep. But the rest of the stuff can just be sold. Like, it's the same with, like, console manufacturers. I don't like Sony. I don't like Microsoft. As much as Microsoft also makes Windows. Like, I can tolerate Windows as a product without liking Microsoft. And I can tolerate Nintendo. I know there's gonna be some people, you're just a Nintendo fanboy. No, it's just Nintendo honestly isn't as bad as the other companies. Like, Sony and Microsoft already let the mask slip ages ago at where they would like to charge for their games and consoles. Nintendo isn't even at a fraction of that. The only reason these other companies haven't done that yet is simply because the outrage was so high when they announced that, their pricing, that they realized that it might be a problem if they were to. This is a bit of a problem. I got this. Trust me, I got this. It's still gonna be after me. I got this. Need to put my bug net away. Those poor flowers. They didn't deserve that. But I got this. Okay. Today, me and likely you guys learned that you can run away from scorpions. I ended sitting off in her stump a while back. I'm gonna sit here. But, yeah. I lost my train of thought, so I'm just gonna end the episode off here. I'm briefly trying to find my train of thought. I was just talking about how I can tolerate Nintendo, like, and I feel like most people are in that camp, like, I don't love Nintendo. I can tolerate them. I'm okay with them. I just like the other companies less, so Nintendo wins by default. I mean, it should speak volumes that I haven't owned an Xbox since the 360, and PlayStation's stopped at 4. Mostly because there wasn't enough on the PlayStation 4 that was actually even worth buying, that wasn't also just on PC. Why would I want to buy it on console when I can buy it on PC and still play it with a controller if I want to? Or play it with mouse and keyboard, if the game's better suited for that. But yeah, that's going to be it for this one. I thank you all very much for watching, and hopefully I shall see you back here tomorrow for more Animal Crossing New Horizons. See you all then.